Hello, folks. On today's Indie Spotlight, I'm gonna be doing an impressions of Jackmove. Now, I did an impression before once for a game called Wife Quest, so if you want to check my thoughts on that, you can check that video out. But the reason I'm doing impressions on Jackmove instead of doing a live type of footage like how I usually do is because, well, Jackmove is an RPG game, typical classic JRPGs type, and I didn't want to spoil certain story sections, so I just thought I'd give an impression on it overall, so that, you know, it's as spoiler-free as it can get. So without further ado, let's get started. So basically, Jackmove is it follows a JRPG style, like, you know, Pokemon, Phantasy Star, and stuff. In fact, this game takes sort of similarities in Phantasy Star in terms of the setting. Although in this game, the setting is more or less in cyberpunk, but. Although it plays like a JRPG, it does have some unique twists to it. Basically, it adds weaknesses and strengths, like how Pokemon usually does it. So, in this game's case, there are 3 types of attacks you use. You have Electroware attacks, which work against Wetware. You have Wetware that works against the Cyberware, and Cyberware works against Electroware. So it does have its own move types that you use on certain enemies that are weak against. So, and apart from that, it also tends to do slightly different things when it comes to encounter rates. Now, normally encounter rates can be a drag. It can be frustrating because, you know, you just randomly have to beat an enemy after you just beated one, and, well, long story short, you get settings that you know, lower this encounter rate. You can even set it to null, which is useful if you just want to explore certain parts of the game without the encounter rate getting in the way, which is cool. I quite like that. Especially it's useful if you want to do a bunch of side quests. But yeah, it doesn't lower the difficulty of the game. In fact, so far, the main problem I have with the game is its difficulty. Enemies are way too strong, and I don't know this yet because I'm still in the midway, but from what I played, it looks like you're stuck with only the main character throughout. Oh yeah, by the way, as far as the story goes, you play as this character called Noah, who makes it her objective to find her father, and little does she know that her father has done a genius invention that could potentially, you know, cause havoc. And, you know, I'm just gonna leave it with the story at that. It does get a bit, you know, complicated. But yeah, that is the gameplay and story side of it. What about the rest of them? I think the graphics are very well done. The sprite work is superb. It's well expressed. The animations are fluid, smooth. There's some bit of personality added to it, which is quite nice for a JRPG, as, you know, it's not very common to see JRPGs with personality in them, which is cool. Although the animations here are sometimes limited when it comes to certain moments, but I can understand that. I could live with that. Music, however, is another story. That music so far is amazing. It has moments of pop. It has, jazz. Everything it has. It has a bunch of metal. I quite like it, the music so far. It's quite catchy and memorable, and I think I would want to listen to some of it, from time to time. So the graphics, pretty much everything about the game is good. The only thing, like I said, is right now, I think the game is a little too high, the difficulty, because the enemies are strong, and yeah, you're stuck with, just one team party member. Because this is annoying because, let's say you gotta wait for enemies to finish their turn, and if enemies come in quantities, you gotta wait for them to finish. Whereas if you have party members, you can dish out enemies quicker. And also, if you die, you literally die. So far, there is no way to get up from a battle unless I'm not aware of something. But yeah, that is right now the only gist I have with it. And yeah, besides doing the basic gameplay, you have side quests as well. Although most of them, from what I've done, is a bunch of fetch quests. So you gotta get certain items from certain characters in order to, get a reward of some kind. Which early on is quite tedious because it kept dragging to a certain point. But I have to wait and see how the side quests are played out in the end. I like the setting that it portrays. It's cyberpunk. It's got, the visuals are well detailed. Like I said, graphics and music are some of the best parts of the game. And yeah, that is right now all the impressions I can give. What I think about its unique twists that it pulls. I mean, it's okay. The Pokemon type advantage and disadvantage is simple, but it could be a bit better because there are some cases where you won't be able to. The enemy doesn't. You won't be able to see the effect played out in most cases. So even though you can get the hint that this is the attack you have to use for that enemy, the enemy doesn't necessarily lose a lot of damage for that. And there are also certain enemies that can trick you. So it's not like the type thing matters a whole lot, because later on you do get moves that dish out a lot more damage. But the thing that is a little interesting, I guess, right now is you have this concept called adding RAM. And this RAM can be used to add in more moves. And the more moves you have, the more useful it is. There is some sort of strategy to it where you gotta swap out the RAM, the software to, do certain types of moves that could be useful in certain bosses. But the problem is, right now, from what I've played, I don't think it is possible to add more than certain RAM. I'm not sure about that because from my attempts, I tried getting more RAM. I did get more RAM, but it didn't show the effect that I could add in more software. So, yeah, that's something that could be a bit annoying if it's just capped to a certain level. But yeah, you also have other stuff like equipment, which, boosts your attack, defense. You don't get the kind which, you change your clothing to change the stats here. It's more like you gotta get certain hardware chips that do it in this case. So yeah, so far I like the setting. it's simple enough. I like how the setting, the gameplay sorta tries to match, so it feels close like a typical JRPG. But I don't know if I'm a big fan of its special moves that have advantages and disadvantages. I don't think that's played out right, in my opinion, but I guess time will tell how that turns out. Well, anyways, folks, that is my impressions of Jackmove. If you're interested, if you want to see further footage of it, I have a link. I have a separate video for it, so you can just check that out if you just want to see the gameplay. And you let me know if you want this type of impressions footage. If this is something you guys like me to do, rather than just showing it live, and that would really help a lot. And yeah, also subscribe, like, and comment. I mean, this really helps the channel to grow, folks. I mean, you obviously would, it's kind of obvious that those help the channel a lot. But anyways, folks, that is it with this one. If you like what you've seen, please give a like, comment, and subscribe. And in the meanwhile, thank you for watching Gaming Roki. Have a good one.